Welcome back to the Motivated Mind Zone. Glad to have you here.
And welcome. Today, we're really digging into something fascinating. A story about the clash between, well, corporate ambition and maybe something deeper. Personal purpose, perhaps.
Exactly. We've got this source material detailing a major reckoning inside a multi-million-dollar tech company, Montgomery Industries.
And it's not just numbers and quarterly reports. This gets personal. It's about two very, very different ways of looking at what value even means.
Absolutely. Our deep dive centers on Isabella Montgomery. She's young, only 27, but she's this powerhouse CEO who built the company herself. And then there's Marcus Chen, 35, a software developer.
Right. And Isabella's ready to fire him, sees him as unreliable, late all the time.
Yeah.
Basically, a threat to her very efficient machine.
But the story takes a turn. The sources reveal this incredible, almost unbelievable secret Marcus is hiding, something deeply personal.
And Isabella, stepping out of her CEO role, decides to investigate him herself. She follows him.
And what she finds, well, it completely shatters her worldview. She discovers that the threat she saw in him, it wasn't corporate espionage or anything like that.
No, it was sacrifice. He was sacrificing his career for this quiet, vital human connection. And plot twist. It involves her own family. Family she'd abandoned.
Wow. So it forces this huge question, doesn't it? What really matters more? Is it the deadlines, the punctuality, the bottom line, the corporate efficiency?
Or is it something less tangible? The messy, sometimes inconvenient but powerful act of just being present for other people.
Well, let's unpack this. We should start where the sources do. Inside Isabella Montgomery's world. Cold, efficient, successful.
Terrifyingly successful, almost. The sources really paint a picture. Age 27, CEO of her own creation, Montgomery Industries. But how did she get there?
100-hour work weeks. That's the key detail. Forged in fire, as they say. Punctuality wasn't just preferred, it was mandatory. Non-negotiable, the baseline.
And she lived it. Oh, did she live it? There's this defining moment mentioned, really crucial context, 3 years ago.
Her sister's funeral.
Yeah. She missed it. She was in Tokyo, closing a massive deal. And she made a conscious choice. The deal over the family, over that final goodbye.
The sources are clear that this still stings. It's this underlying wound that fuels her rigidity, her intolerance for anything less than total commitment to the company.
That makes sense. If you've sacrificed that much personally, it's incredibly hard to accept what looks like flakiness or lack of commitment from someone else. It feels like a betrayal of your own sacrifices.
Right. It becomes a moral issue for her. Corporate sacrifice equals worthiness, almost.
Which brings us right to Marcus Chen, the catalyst. He's brilliant, apparently. An MIT grad. Could work anywhere. His actual work, impeccable when he's there.
But he's late again, fourth time this month. And Isabella, she's just done. Zero tolerance left. He represents chaos in her ordered world.
So the confrontation, it's described as happening in one of those horrible, sterile conference rooms. Glass, steel, very cold.
Yeah, claustrophobic. And Isabella is pure ice. Cold professionalism. She sees he looks exhausted, notices a little bandage on his hand, but just dismisses it. Weakness.
Yeah.
Irrelevant.
And she lays it out, her core belief. We all have complications, Mr. Chen. I run a business, not a charity. Oof.
That says it all, doesn't it? It's not just a warning, it's her entire philosophy distilled into one sentence.
And Marcus, his reaction is key here. He doesn't fight back. No arguing, no excuses, really. Just this quiet, steady apology. He says, I know. Admits there have been some complications at home.
But then there's that moment. Isabella presses him about his daughter's health specifically, and he hesitates. Just for a second, he stutters slightly.
And that tiny crack is enough for Isabella. Her corporate radar goes off. She's built her empire reading people, spotting risk, deception.
So what does she think? Not, oh, maybe he's struggling. No. Her mind jumps straight to
Deceit, lying, cheating, stealing company time, cooking the books maybe. Something illicit. That's her frame of reference. hiding family stuff as a cover.
It's cynical, but based on her world, maybe understandable. Her immediate reaction is pure corporate security. Have him watched. She fully suspects him of malfeasance.
Yeah, she just cannot compute the idea that a high achiever, an MIT grad, would risk everything for something good, something selfless.
But the sources give us the flip side. What Marcus is actually dealing with right after that meeting. He gets a text message.
A text from Janet, the program director at this community center. It's about his daughter, Lily.
And Lily's story. It's just heartbreaking. 3 years prior, the same accident that killed his wife, Sarah, a drunk driver on I-95, left Lily with a traumatic brain injury.
The result, severe epilepsy, poorly controlled. So Marcus is living with this constant low-level terror. Every phone call, every text, it could be the worst news.
This immense burden, totally invisible to Isabella. She sees lateness. He's carrying the weight of the world.
And he has her warning ringing in his ears. One more incident. His job is on the line.
But that internal pressure, his commitment, it overrides the corporate threat. We see him make the choice. He looks at the clock. It's 2:47 p.m.
And it's not about traffic. It's about timing. If he leaves right then, he can make it to the community center for his commitment there.
The sources frame this as a conscious risk. He is actively choosing something intangible presence, commitment over his job security, his paycheck.
What's pulling him? It's not just Lily, though she's central. He's thinking about the kids at the center. Emma, this little girl in a pink wheelchair who calls him Mr. M. Tommy, a boy with Down syndrome who he just helped count to 5.
He made a promise to Janet, the director who helped him after Sarah died. It's this cycle of support. And for Marcus, going there, it's about honoring Sarah's memory, too. She was a pediatric nurse. This is his way of carrying on her work.
So he walks out, knowing the risk, gets into his beat-up Honda. He doesn't know it, but Isabella's watching. She's about to follow.
This is where Isabella's own journey, her own deep dive, really starts. She tells her assistant she has a personal errand to run, which, for her, is apparently unheard of.
Yeah, a huge deviation. And the visual contrast here is so stark in the source material. Her sleek silver Mercedes,
Symbol of her controlled, successful life.
pulling out of the pristine corporate garage, tailing this old, probably dented Honda.
Taking her away from the gleaming towers, the world she knows, and plunging her into a part of the city she's probably actively ignored.
Definitely. The descriptions shift. Rundown storefronts, check cashing places, graffiti. This is the reality her business model likely doesn't account for. It's a visceral shock for her.
And her mind, still stuck in that corporate suspicion mode, is racing. What's he doing here? Drug deal? Gambling? Some kind of shady operation.
She parks across the street from this shabby-looking community center.
Yeah.
The sound of her expensive shoes on the cracked pavement is noted in another contrast. She heads inside.
Finds it surprisingly clean, but worn. Clearly loved, but under-resourced. She follows the sound of laughter. Children's laughter.
Down a hallway to a door marked Sunshine Room, Special Friends Program.
And she looks through the little window in the door and just freezes. Everything stops.
Because there's Marcus. The guy she thought was a liar, maybe a thief, sitting cross-legged on a brightly colored mat. Completely different.
The sources are really specific here. The stiffness, the exhaustion she saw in the office, gone. He's surrounded by kids with various special needs, wheelchairs, walkers, clear developmental differences.
And he's not just supervising, he's with them. The sources mention him helping Emma, the girl in the pink wheelchair, follow words in a book, celebrating with Tommy, the boy with Down syndrome, who'd just counted to 5.
His face, usually so tired and drawn at work, is described as transformed by genuine joy. The lines just disappear. He's teaching them basic computer skills, adapted for them, showing them technology can be for them too.
The contrast must be gut-wrenching for Isabella. The Marcus she judged versus the Marcus she's seeing now. He wasn't hiding a crime. He was hiding this. His purpose.
While she's standing there kind of reeling, she gets approached by Janet, the program director. Janet assumes she's a parent or maybe from social services.
Isabella scrambles, says she works with Mr. Chen, and Janet, maybe relieved it's not bad news, just opens up about Marcus.
She explains he never wanted any recognition. He's been volunteering twice a week, sometimes more, for 6 months. It started as a favor. Janet helped him after his wife died. This reciprocal kindness, totally outside Isabella's usual world of transactions.
Then Janet mentions the center lost funding for second aid,
Yeah.
so Marcus just stepped in, teaches computer literacy for free because he believes in these kids.
And then Janet drops the bombshell, the detail that explains everything. She says Marcus never misses a session. Not ever.
Even when,
Even when his own daughter, Lily, is in the hospital because of her epilepsy.
wow, just, wow, that hits hard.
You can imagine the cold dread Isabella must feel. Suddenly, it all clicks into place. The absences, the constant exhaustion, that little bandage on his hand she dismissed probably from catching Lily during a seizure.
And she threatened his job, his lifeline, for pure, selfless dedication.
But it gets worse. The dread turns personal. As she's watching Marcus interact with the kids, her eye keeps getting drawn back to Emma, the girl in the pink wheelchair.
There's something about her. The sources mention the determined set of her chin. It triggers this faint, painful flicker of recognition in Isabella.
She asks Janet carefully about Emma's story.
Janet explains Emma lost her parents in an accident a couple of years ago. Slightly different timing than Marcus's wife's accident, but still tragic. Emma now lives with her grandmother, Martha Walker, elderly, 74, just getting by on Social Security.
And when Janet says the last name, Walker, Isabella's world just implodes.
Because her sister, Catherine, the one whose funeral she missed, had married a man named Walker. They died in a car crash 3 years ago.
The timing fits. 3 years ago, Isabella was in Tokyo. She just assumed the niece, Emma, went to the father's side of the family, paid for flowers, sent condolences via assistant, and severed the tie. Closed the book. Focused on the business.
Outsourced her grief. Outsourced her responsibility.
And now the reality hits her like a physical blow. Her niece, Catherine's daughter, alive, right here, in this underfunded center, being cared for, loved, patiently taught by the man she almost fired.
The weight of that realization. She just flees the center, can't handle it. The contrast is brutal. Her empire, her money, her power, meaningless.
Compared to what Marcus has, which isn't money, it's Emma's trust, Emma's affection, those hand-painted butterflies Emma makes that Janet mentioned. He has the connection Isabella threw away.
The sources say Isabella spends that entire night doing what she does best, research. But this time, it's personal. She uses her resources, her connections, to dig into the aftermath of her sister's accident.
And it confirms her worst fears. Martha Walker, the grandmother, was struggling desperately. The wheelchair costs, medical bills, wiped out everything.
And the deepest cut, she finds evidence. Emails, records, social services, and Martha Walker herself had tried to contact Isabella multiple times after the accident.
But her hyper-efficient assistant, following protocol, had filed them all under non-urgent personal matters. Her system, designed to protect her focus, had walled off her own family's cries for help.
She chose the deal, over and over. But the research also reveals more about Marcus. His background is even more poignant than she knew.
Yeah, MIT wasn't just a line on his resume. He deliberately chose to work in medical software specifically for children's hospitals.
To honor Sarah, his late wife, the pediatric nurse, her belief, which became his mission, was that every child deserves a chance to reach their potential. That explains so much.
The accident that killed Sarah on I-95 also caused Lily's TBI and epilepsy. And the financial side, Marcus sold everything. Their house, stock options, car, all poured into experimental treatments for Lily.
So his unreliability, his beat-up car, his financial struggles, it wasn't failure, it was sacrifice, driven by love, grief, and this deep sense of purpose inherited from his wife.
Isabella must feel the ground just vanish beneath her. Her judgment was so wrong, so spectacularly off base. She saw corporate liability. He was living a profound human drama.
Her definition of success, built on spreadsheets and punctuality, just crumbles. It means nothing compared to what she's just uncovered.
She closes her laptop. All the urgent business, the Beijing trip, the merger suddenly irrelevant. She knows she can't just throw money at this. She has to show up somehow. Be the Aunt Emma needed.
But life, as it does, throws another curveball before she can figure out how. Marcus gets to the community center for his next volunteer session
Mm.
and walks into chaos.
A main water pipe burst, flooded the whole east wing, the sunshine room, destroyed.
This isn't just water damage, it's years of work gone. Specialized keyboards, sensory toys, adapted tablets for nonverbal kids, all ruined. Years of donations and careful accumulation just wiped out.
The center's unusable for at least 6 weeks, maybe longer. The kids are devastated. Emma's clutching a soggy butterfly painting. Tommy keeps asking where they'll go. Parents are panicked about regression. It's a disaster.
Isabella finds out almost immediately. Her network, her resources, she gets the alert, and she understands two things instantly.
One, the cost to fix it is actually trivial for her, a rounding error. But two, the speed of finding a new space is critical for these kids. They can't wait weeks.
This is her moment to act differently, and she does. She identifies a place in her own property portfolio, a vacant former dance studio. Perfect size, wheelchair accessible, nearby, ready to go.
But interestingly, she still can't face them directly. Not yet. The guilt, maybe. The shame.
Seems likely. So she sends a representative, Patricia Coleman, from Montgomery Properties, anonymously.
Patricia meets Marcus and Janet, who are just reeling from the flood. Offers them the space, rent-free, utilities, insurance, everything covered. Says it's a corporate giving initiative.
Marcus and Janet are just stunned. It's a miracle. Too perfect. But the anonymity doesn't quite hold.
Right. Before Patricia leaves, she hands Marcus a second folder. Sealed. Inside there's a note.
And this note is the bridge. It reads, "Every child deserves to reach their potential. Thank you for being there when others couldn't be. A friend who understands the value of butterflies."
Boom. Marcus knows. When others couldn't be. The butterflies, Emma's signature. He knows it's Isabella, the CEO. The woman who threatened his job is now saving their program.
But the personal crises aren't over. That same evening, before Isabella musters the courage to call Martha Walker, her phone rings. It's the hospital.
It's Lily. She's been rushed to the ICU, status epilepticus, a continuous life-threatening seizure.
Isabella doesn't hesitate this time. The Beijing call, canceled, mergers, put on hold, everything wiped clean. She uses her connections to find out which hospital, gets Lily's room number, and she drives there. And this time she goes inside.
This is the choice she didn't make 3 years ago for her sister.
She finds Marcus in the family waiting lounge, just broken. Head in his hand, still wearing his volunteer badge, slightly damp from the flood cleanup. All the barriers are down now. Corporate titles, past grievances, none of it matters.
Isabella sits next to him, quietly. Doesn't offer platitudes. Starts by acknowledging his work at the center, validating what he does, telling him she saw it.
There's this heavy silence. Then an alarm goes off down the hall Lily's room. Marcus flinches, paralyzed with fear.
And in that raw moment, Isabella puts a hand on his arm, a simple human connection. And she says something like, "She's strong, Marcus, like her father. I can't lose her too." That too hangs in the air.
And that shared vulnerability, that fear, it breaks the dam. Isabella finally confesses everything, tells him straight out. "Emma Walker, she's my niece. Catherine was my sister."
I chose my company. I chose a deal over my family, and I've been a coward ever since.
Just lays it bare. And Marcus, facing his own potential loss, doesn't react with anger or blame. Instead, he gives her grace.
He tells her, "It's not too late," Isabella says. Emma still asks about her busy Aunt Bella. That the connection isn't totally broken. Hope still exists.
They wait together. Two people from wildly different worlds, one built on power, the other on service, united by fear in this fragile hope. Then, good news. Lily stabilizes. Doctors found a new protocol that worked.
And in the relief, Marcus mentions Lily loves butterflies too, because he tells her stories about Emma and her paintings. Another connection forged.
With Lily stable, Isabella knows what she has to do next. No more hiding, no more intermediaries. She takes out her personal phone, finds the number she's avoided for 3 years. Martha Walker.
This call, it's harder than any negotiation she's ever done. No leverage, just raw vulnerability. She dials. Tells Martha who she is, says she knows she has no right, but she needs to talk. About Emma, about everything.
And Martha's response is just devastatingly simple. Calm, no surprise. We've been waiting for this call for 3 years. She agrees to meet that day.
The meeting is the real crucible. Isabella shows up at Martha's modest apartment. No power suit, simple clothes, trying to look like an aunt.
And Emma, innocent, direct Emma, cuts right through all the potential awkwardness, looks Isabella straight in the eye and asks the killer question. Why didn't you come before?
Oof. No escape, no corporate jargon possible. Isabella gives the only answer she can. The truth. Because I made a mistake, a big one. I thought my important building and my important things mattered more than family. I was wrong. And I'm so, so sorry.
It's not just words. The sources say you can feel the shift. It's a confession of our entire broken value system.
And Emma, with that child's wisdom, says something like, Mr. M says mistakes are how we learn. Did you learn? Just, wow, that opens the door.
Isabella then does what she knows, offers money. Help for Emma, support for Martha, her default solution.
But Martha, who has lived the cost of Isabella's absence, gently pushes the money aside, at least initially. She knows that's the easy way out for Isabella.
Martha sets the real price. The condition for forgiveness, for rebuilding trust. It's not a check, it's presence. Isabella has to come to Tuesday butterfly days, every Tuesday, for a month, to prove she means it. To show Emma she's really here now.
The currency is time. The one thing Isabella always guarded so fiercely. And she accepts. She agrees.
So begins the new normal. Isabella starts showing up. Early. No excuses. The urgent calls go unanswered. She's there at Martha's apartment in her aunt clothes.
And the final scene described is just beautiful. Emma, bursting with pride, introduces her to neighbors. This is my Aunt Bella. She catches butterflies.
And Isabella, the former titan of industry, is sitting there painting with Emma, using all the colors purple, yellow, blue, feeling, maybe for the first time, a sense of purpose that has nothing to do with profit margins.
There's this moment after a rain shower. Rainbows appear, and Emma points and says, see, Aunt Bella, even rain can make something beautiful. You just need the right light.
And Isabella gets it. The butterfly, her own transformation, is finally happening. She understands her real power wasn't in controlling an empire, but maybe in learning how to hold something precious, like family, like connection, without breaking it.
It's such a powerful illustration of how differently we can measure success or value, isn't it? You have Marcus Chen.
Right. Facing financial ruin, personal tragedy.
Yeah.
Yet his core value system, built on service, on presence, honoring his wife, it never wavered. His worth was in contribution, connection, risking everything for that intangible impact.
And then Isabella. Measured value in dollars, in efficiency, in control. She had to learn the devastating cost of absence. Her empire was built on detachment, really.
Her redemption wasn't about donating more money. It was about reclaiming commitment, shedding that corporate armor, facing her personal failures, the missed calls, the abandoned family. That's where the real transformation began.
It shows that true change often comes not from bigger wins, but from confronting our own messiness, our own mistakes. Her money could move buildings, yeah, but only her presence could start to mend relationships.
The core lesson really boils down to the power of showing up. Marcus understood the profound value of presence instinctively, risking everything for it. Isabella had to learn it the hard way, risking her identity, her ego, to finally be present.
That final realization of hers is potent power isn't just control, it's the ability to cherish something fragile without crushing it. Family, purpose, connection.
So the question it leaves you with, is pretty stark. What's the urgent deal in your life today? That email, that project, that meeting you think you absolutely cannot miss.
Is prioritizing that causing you to miss the quiet, fragile, maybe more important moments? Is the empire you're building, personally or professionally, based on presence or on absence? Something to think about.
A lot to think about.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the price of presence.